Start. All right, we should be good to go, Greg.
All righty. Everybody see that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's the Nebraska Iowa MUFON meeting this week. MUFON's all about the scientific study of UFOs for the benefit of humanity. As the world's oldest and largest UFO phenomena investigative body, we aim to be the inquisitive minds seeking answers to the most ancient questions. Are we alone in the universe? Here's a November image for us. I got an alien family at Thanksgiving here. Nebraska MUFON teams made up of Kyle Finley, State Director, Fred Ziwi, Assistant State Director, and ERT Representative. Tamara Steyer is a Chief Investigator and Field Investigator. John Barta, Field Investigator. Right, new to us now is Dimitri Blackwell. He's an FI trainee. One trainee, and Dave Paris and Dr. Jack Casher are both consultants.
Yeah, and just update on that. Yeah, it was like 2 months to get Fred and Dimitri updated in the CMS. I sent them like 3 emails for that. It took like 2 months to do it. But Fred's now a field investigator 3, the highest ranking field investigator. So yeah.
Yay.
And then Dimitri, we got back on as a trainee, reactivated in the thing. We just got to get the email switched around. So hopefully it won't take another 2 months for that. But yeah, they haven't done it yet.
And the Iowa team is made up myself, Greg Anderson, State Director, Dave Kreider is Chief Investigator and the Field Investigator, and Beverly Moore is a Field Investigator. Our yearly case counts for the two states are Iowa, we've had 26 cases submitted so far this year, and Nebraska's had 15. You can see that the last couple of years, the numbers have gone down from what we had earlier in the time frame.
Is that the search engine optimization stuff yet? Are they still working on that?
The I don't know what they're still working on. Who knows?
They'd probably reach out to somebody on that.
They don't normally reach out to us at all, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
The It's a monthly case count by month. You know, 'cause see, Nebraska had the last in October had two cases, and we haven't had any since September in Iowa. So it's been kind of slow, but that's typical for the winter months. And here's the Nebraska, Iowa attendance numbers. It looks like we had 19 last month.
Yeah.
That's,
21 this month.
yeah. So right up there about average, I think.
Yeah.
That's good.
Um, this is the Iowa and Nebraska, the stats. We're 22nd at 100%, and Nebraska's back at 100% with
Yay.
25th. It kind of went off and on and off and on that. So, yeah.
We were in the dumpster for a while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see how it goes. Oh yeah, the one case we're covering Tamara's, I think it got submitted late, so we'll probably be
Yeah.
back down. Is what I got in there one day late, and I was like, oh, it's one day over, and I told Tamara, get that done.
Yeah.
He's like, oh yeah, but the CMS was down that weekend. That was what the problem was. So I don't know if that's going to count or not.
Yeah.
It
Who
will.
knows? I don't.
She had it done before, yeah, the CMS went down, but she couldn't update it because the CMS was down, and so
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
always something.
Yeah. A MUFON News. Dave McDonald's executive director. What he has to say this month is as autumn leaves fall and we approach the close of another remarkable year, I want to take a moment to reflect on the extraordinary momentum MUFON has built throughout 2025. November is a time of gratitude, and I'm deeply thankful for the dedication of our members, field investigators, and volunteers who continue to push the boundaries of UFO research and public awareness. This month, we celebrate several key milestones. Project Aquarius has expanded globally with new partnerships forming across South America and Europe. These international collaborations are enriching our data pool and strengthening our mission to unify UFO research worldwide. Our UFO mapping app remains the top-rated tool in its category, now available in all 50 states and 32 countries. This achievement speaks volumes about the public's growing interest in credible, accessible tools for tracking unexplained aerial phenomena. MUFON's presence in Washington, D.C. continues to grow. We've met with over 280 members of Congress and committee staff this year and we're honored to present to the Senate Intelligence Committee. Our work previously helped shape legislations in both 2022 and 2023 National Defense Authorization Acts, and we've earned bipartisan support for advising the AARO at the Defense Intelligence Agency. Looking ahead, we're preparing for a dynamic 2026. Our symposium planning is underway, and we're expanding our media presence through MUFON TV and the Observer Network. If you haven't tuned in yet, I encourage you to explore our growing library of ad-free content and podcasts hosted by Richard Beckwith. Finally, I give thanks to all our chapters worldwide and the incredible job they do for MUFON. I wish you all a wonderful Thanksgiving and keep looking up. Here's our one case. It's, right now, it's listed as insufficient data, and it'll probably stay that way, maybe.
Yep, yep, it will. That's what I
And
talked to her about it.
it happened down in Lincoln, Nebraska, and on July 27th at 9:52 in the evening. And the witness observed six UAPs, no more than two at once, and they have the video. And I guess we'll start one of the videos here. Well, that's full screen, I guess.
Like the old Big Dipper.
Yeah, that is the Big Dipper there. Yeah. And that's a plane.
Yeah.
I think on this video, it's some of the stuff's toward the end of it. There is an object that one of the objects. And
Hmm.
Whoops. Let me hit escape to get back to. Now let's watch this next one. That went kind of fast. We'll play it over here.
Now you do that one more time.
All right.
Yeah.
Can you stop it where they start seeing the flash there, Greg?
Yeah,
There it is.
Looks like
Yeah.
it curves a little bit, maybe.
Yeah.
Wonder what that is. Hmm. Definitely moving pretty fast in order to kind of have a trail, so to speak.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they did say none of these were visible to the naked eye, only captured on video using the.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes even more sense.
Yeah, but you got to wonder what if is this like a snippet of a longer video, because you got to wonder why the person was taking a picture of just that part of the
No,
sky.
no, yeah, this is edited,
Prob
enhanced,
Yeah, right.
and zoom, slow adjusted. So yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Hmm. Hmm.
And
That's
then
that was interesting.
the last one's got, let's see,
Yeah, these were on a iPhone 16 Pro Max, zoomed at 24 to 48x. Kind
yeah, this is a longer one here.
of interesting. They always focus on that Big Dipper.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they said the planes were clearly visible. So it's
Yes,
the other things that are.
Oops.
Oh, I think this is the one where, yeah, close to the house. This is kind of looks like a low resolution. There.
So there was one
that
right
was probably the zoomed in and that's yep.
That's a blinking one.
Hmm.
Uh, So that was the videos.
Yeah, maybe we get they said they have high resolution videos, zoomed in stills, enhanced versions.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always best to get the from the witness, it's always best to get the highest resolution that you can so that the photo analysis you do on it can,
Yeah, I think you can only upload something to the CMS, right? Don't have a
right. Yeah. The-
limitation on that, maybe.
right. So
But yeah, yeah, Tamara was saying that there's no they couldn't get the exact location, so it was gonna remain a insufficient data until they get like the exact location. But if it's on an iPhone 16, you think there'd be a GPS location on that tied to
yeah,
the video, right?
right. Well, if on not maybe not on the edited videos.
Yeah, true.
I don't know. I don't know if that EXIF data, that metadata transfers over to a copy.
How do
Uh,
you find the metadata like GPS location? Is that embedded in the in a video image file
Yeah,
somehow?
in
typically,
video and still images, so you have metadata that all kinds of data, but it depends. Sometimes it has the GPS data and sometimes it doesn't.
yeah, you could on your phone if you turn off your GPS, then when you take video or photo, it won't have GPS location attached to the video. But if it's turned on when you ever take a video or a photo, it should have GPS coordinates where it was taken at.
Wow. Okay. Thanks.
And then, I mean, that's the stuff that Enigma, I think they use that for when they're doing their app. So you can take a picture or a video right with the app, and then they want to use your GPS location. And then you can also get the tilt angle of the video taken, so you can kind of triangulate. If more than one person sees a UFO, you can triangulate where it's at.
So
Mhm.
when you get sent images like this, are you able to discover that data?
Oh
If
yeah.
if it's included, yeah. Like Greg was saying, if the video is edited or enhanced, sometimes you might lose that data. I'm not a super expert into that, but yeah, there's a chance to lose the data if they're editing it. And if they want to, I guess if they want to do like a hoax or something, you could probably get in there and edit the data yourself. And so you know,
I think what he wants to know is, how to extract that data. There's a program to do that. Is that correct?
Oh,
I mean,
there's
I know I've
multiple programs to
yeah,
do
there's
that.
like a
yeah, I know.
website that
Yeah.
does it. You probably download something that does it, but I think I use the website. I don't know what you use, Greg.
Well, there's one called Irfan View that you can use to look at pictures and stuff, and you can look at the data that way. Uh, there you can use there's one that I use for photo analysis called Forensically Beta. That's a it's on the web, and you can go in, and one of the things it includes is the metadata. Um, You can just get online and look up EXIF viewer, and you can find multiple programs. There's one called the Metadata to Go is the one that I use when I go onto the web and use it. So yeah, there's multiples.
Well, and the only other reason I was asking was I continue to see all sorts of video that I swear looks AI, but it's AI is getting so good at things. Could could an image file you could detect whether how do you determine if anything you're watching is AI generated?
Well, the problem with you could if it had EXIF data, the problem is that EXIF data can be edited. So somebody could, if somebody wanted to hoax something, they could also go in and edit the EXIF data to make it look like it was that it wasn't created a created image.
Hey
Well,
guys, hey guys, question.
Yeah.
How do we know that video looked so very much like something I saw 2 years ago? I dropped my niece and nephew at their parents' house in La Vista. I am coming home. It's only about 9:30 at night, and this thing goes through the sky. It was crazy. I did not get a photograph of it, but when I came to our next MUFON meeting, I explained it and what I saw. And Dave Pears said that it was probably a small particle of asteroid coming through the atmosphere. And so, since that video looks so much like what I saw, how can we possibly discern this from what I experienced and what Dave Pears explained?
You, I mean, there if it was a very, very large one, sometimes you can go into a meteor AMS American Meteor Society's website and look and see if it's listed. But usually, if it's a meteor too, this video, it's kind of curved, and I've never seen meteors and stuff that they've always gone straight as far
right.
as
Okay.
and
Okay. Well, the
this
one I
one.
saw curved, it was definitely curving.
Yeah.
So,
Probably want to ask an expert like Dave. He's seen, a lot of Dave Perez,
Yeah.
a lot of Daves. Um,
exactly.
yeah, he's, looked at the sky his whole life being a meteorologist and everything, and you can tell, different clouds, different meteors, stuff like that. I think when they come in, they usually go straight. Sometimes if they break apart though, you might see them, change directions a little bit. There's certain colors that, they are limited to. Um,
I maybe saw a portion of one that had already broken apart, but mine was definitely curved. It had a curvature.
Mm,
Yeah, I think maybe in different parts of the sky too, right? As they're coming down, they can probably curve a little bit.
yeah.
Fred was gonna say.
Did this the video that we saw, it looked like it was going up. It was going from a lower then going up. Did I not see that correctly?
Yeah, I think it was lower to up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how does a meter
Weird.
go? Usually
I
meters come from higher to lower, and this one from lower to higher. So it's going to me is like the meter doesn't go that direction.
mhm. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so you might want to take a look at that again, Kyle, because that is
Well, no, it looks like a
going.
good case. I mean, yeah, the
Oh,
the
I
problem
know,
was just the location on this one.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
I'm
I said,
trying to find the metadata now. I could see if we can.
that just caught my attention just now. Like it was going in the wrong direction. It's going from lower to upper.
Yeah.
Good point, Fred. Very good point.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe we can get the higher resolution image. It seems like this person's interested. I don't know if she made contact or not. But yeah, on the metadata on this, they do have the location, it looks like. But I think Steve brought up a real good question on the AI stuff. I don't think I've heard anybody address that. I didn't even think about that until he brought it up. But most of these images are low quality, you don't have much for reference or anything. Like AI could definitely generate some of these things if, I wonder if MUFON has any way to counter some of that.
Well,
Once again, we
Good
can never.
point. Very
Once again,
good
we
point.
once again we can never say it's real or right or true because you can mess with everything now. I mean, AI to changing metadata. I didn't know you could change metadata. Good God.
Well, yeah, I mean, it takes a little bit of expertise. I think we can, with
Yeah,
our,
still
how we investigate this, you can tell if somebody's, you know,
mess
computer
messed with it.
savvy and able, if I submit something, I would easily be able to fake a lot of this stuff. But, if it's
Right.
somebody who can barely use email, you'd probably give them accreditation that they
Give it
didn't,
more credibility.
yeah,
Yeah.
didn't use AI to generate some random thing and change the
Yeah.
metadata and stuff like that.
It just gives skeptics all the more reason to say, well, it couldn't be real, and to dismiss it and debunk it by coming
Yeah.
up with a hypothesis that just requires you guys to do more and more work and become more and more experts at goddamn everything.
Yes. What's real?
yeah,
But
there's,
yeah, I think maybe we can talk about it. They have like a state directors meeting Monday, right?
yeah,
Yes.
And I think the AI thing is a good question to bring up.
Well, this group was, as I remember, this group was leading the charge on the whole fractal analysis to at least try and see if somebody photoshopped something or overlaid it. And
Yeah,
now,
that is another option. I was gonna bring that up. Yeah, I got distracted. But yeah, the fractal analysis shows, if somebody does like makes an image and they just use video editing software, the background and the what they edited doesn't usually line up. So the fractal analysis would still be valid, as long as the AI stuff doesn't catch on to that.
right.
Right.
That's why that program I use called Forensically Beta, that you just search that. That does clone analysis and other types, luminance. It does different things, and you can change the levels. Um, so that the clone analysis will show you if the object is been placed onto the photograph, onto the image. So yeah, it's just like doing the fractal analysis, but a lot simpler.
There you go.
Yeah.
well, thanks you guys for staying up to date on all the on all the latest technology. It really makes this is a solid group of people working on this. I sure appreciate all the work you guys do on it to try and rule things out, try to find out what the truth is.
Yep.
Yeah. So
What's next?
well, we got some videos there we can watch here. This one's kind of interesting. It's got what's it, George Knapp in it.
Well, the largest UFO investigation ever funded by the U.S. government was carried out in total secrecy, and it happened right here in Las Vegas.
And while most of the reports produced by the program are still classified, the scientist who managed the program is spilling some of what he knows.
Dr. James Wakatsky worked for the DIA, or Defense Intelligence Agency, and says the goal of the program was to figure out UFO technology and to one day build our own.
He spoke exclusively with 8 News Now chief investigator George Knapp. George now joining us live in studio.
Yeah, we're a big racing town now, right? Formula One, NASCAR, etc. But Las Vegas is known now as a racing town. But the most important race, perhaps on the planet, was headquartered right here. It was a race to see which nation would be the first to crack the code and replicate the propulsion system of these mysterious machines seen for decades in our skies and oceans. The race is real, and it's still underway. And we are in a race for the tech?
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
For more than 80 years, the U.S. government has told the public not to fret about UFO intrusions because nearly all of them are explainable. Behind the scenes, though, intelligence agencies and the Pentagon acknowledge there is a deadly serious contest to figure out UFO technology before Russia or China do. Nevada Senator Harry Reid told us before his death that the race is real and that we'd better win it, which is why he was the primary sponsor of a $22 million secret investigation.
And it's not our belief or conjecture or the opinion of the office. It's facts from the program. These are from official sources, from what the public has paid for.
Dr. James Likatsky spent most of his career with the DIA analyzing the technology of America's adversaries, weapons that could potentially wipe out the world. He was and is a keeper of secrets and regarded his oath and security clearance as gospel. But these days, he is cautiously and meticulously sharing what he can about OSAP, the largest acknowledged UFO investigation ever funded by the U.S. government. Likatsky designed and managed OSAP, inspired by a book he read about a UFO hotspot in a remote corner of Utah, a place now known as Skinwalker Ranch. Credible witnesses had reported seeing mysterious high-tech objects emerge from holes in the sky. Likatsky believed this was a potential threat and also an opportunity.
You know, we wanted to learn what can be weaponized here. And basically that was our job at DIA.
Likatsky visited the ranch, escorted by its owner, Las Vegas tycoon Robert Bigelow, had his own bizarre experience there, then convinced DIA leadership that an investigation was warranted. Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid and two of his Senate colleagues agreed, and OSAP was born. The program was housed within a subsidiary of Bigelow Aerospace, had a team of 50 full-time investigators, and conducted an unprecedented investigation in near total secrecy. Likatsky and his team produced an astounding amount of material, including 115 thick documents and the world's largest UFO data warehouse. 14 years after OSAP ended, the DIA has yet to release any of the original material. Likatsky is doing it himself. His latest book, New Insights Inside the U.S. Government's UFO Program, makes the case that UFOs and paranormal phenomena related to UFOs are generated by someone or something that is not us. Can we say they're not human?
I don't think you can. We can be pretty well sure we're not dealing with humans.
The material in the book is from government files, compiled by government personnel in a government-funded program. It may not count as official disclosure, but it's in the same ballpark. New Insights includes remarkable UFO incidents, cases in which airline pilots were followed by huge unknown craft which changed shapes while in the air. Eyewitnesses who experienced inexplicable physiological changes after their close encounters, others who suffered major medical consequences, outbreaks of bizarre paranormal phenomena, and entities in the homes of dozens of people who had earlier seen orbs, triangles, or other weird craft. Newly unveiled events from in and around the Utah ranch are the stuff of nightmares, including creature sightings, macabre animal mutilations, and even an incident from the oddities known as the Men in Black. Likatsky flat out admits the government has in its possession at least one recovered craft of unknown origin, a flying machine with no wings, no engine, no fuel tanks. How do you know it's a craft if it has no fuel tank? You didn't actually see it fly, or, I mean, are you convinced it is some sort of a craft, a machine?
Yes. And by the way, Senator Reid asked the same question.
We're going against the wind. The wind's 120 miles away.
Like the late senator, Likatsky has no doubt our adversaries have their own programs to reverse engineer UFO tech. The OSAP program completed almost everything it was designed to do in its 27-month existence. After that, the funding was suddenly paused. Fingers are pointed at multiple possible culprits, but Likatsky now reveals the person responsible was Harry Reid himself. The senator confided to Likatsky there was a spy in his Washington office who was leaking information to help the candidacy of Reid's 2010 opponent, Sharon Angle. Reid was widely expected to lose that race. So he's worried that the story gets out, it affects his race, and he'd no longer be a U.S. senator.
And it would have.
Reid surprisingly won that race in a cakewalk, but afterward was no longer the majority leader of the Senate. He was minority leader. Likatsky says Reid kept his word and secured funding for OSAP to continue in some form. We'll explore that part of the story in a future report. And as a matter of disclosure, I was the journalist who was allowed to know about OSAP while it was underway, and later was a co-author of 2 earlier books by Dr. Lukatsky and his colleague, Dr. Colm Kelleher. I had no hand in this current book, New Insights. Pretty good stuff, though.
Listen.
All right. Any discussion on that?
Man, I want to get more good reporting like that.
That's a long segment for a news story for a local TV station. Jeez.
Yeah. Took up their whole commercial to commercial.
Well, what does everybody think about the arms race? I mean, the whole idea behind this effort to cover up or not reveal things, they're justifying it all by this really is an arms race. I don't know that I have a problem with that in some ways if it is all due to an arms race.
Well,
Well, yeah, obviously the tech would be the most powerful thing on the world, if it's the same stuff we're working on with the QED project, doing space warp. You don't need any powerful weapon. You just put like a grenade on a drone, put space warp and you could kill anybody on the planet. So, yeah, it's definitely powerful. And whoever gets it first, I mean, they easily could rule the entire planet. So, but
I was thinking about what they were talking about. It says if it doesn't have fuel tanks, fuels, wings, and things of that, is it a craft? Well, what's a craft? Again, that's when we see a UFO, what is it? It's using technology to beyond more of quantum constructs, in the propulsion, But I think there's that mentality that the quantum doesn't exist, for a lot of scientists, but yet again we have to deal with it now, and that's the only thing I think about when I deal with UFOs and construct is we're dealing with alternate states of consciousness, and everything's consciousness now from that point, So when we do see a craft, is it a projection? Is it, from an intelligence? I have no idea if it's real or not real. If it doesn't have structure to it, you said, well, does it have structure? Our MUFON said, does it have structure? Well, yeah, it could be a projection. It could be screen memory of a craft coming up. I've got 2 cases where 2 women saw triangular craft within 50 feet of each other, and it's a 50-foot craft. Was that a craft or was that a projection? I'd say a projection.
well, they say they got a material craft in quotes, and it wouldn't be a projection if you can go up and knock on it, it'd be an object.
Yeah, this one craft.
I agree with you. 100%. What is a projection and what is not?
How do you determine it? Like I said, I got 2 cases. One went right over in Lincoln. This gal said it flew right up to her. It just wharfed across the top of a building. I can't remember the General Dynamics building in Lincoln. In fact, it was a General Dynamics building. It just came right up to her. It stopped, and she goes, "Oh," and she's like, "I wasn't really she said was scared a little bit, but it just stopped right in front of her. So there was some sort of contact between her and the craft, and I think there's an abduction that happened or something of that nature. But then she said it just banked off the motel and went down to the end of the road, and it went into a cloud-like substance, and the cloud was backlit. So I said, oh, that's just a portal, and just went into the portal. Again, could have just been a projection of some sort. I would absolutely say both this one and the other one. The other gal was just here in Bellevue. She was driving down the street and sees these lights, and then when she got up to it, there was a triangular craft, just sitting there, just sat there. And another car came up behind her. And I think even the car behind her was a projection just to keep herself feeling like she was safe, You can't understand the complexity of what is transpiring in and around you.
Projection, do you think it means non-physical, like it's not actually there, but just the people who are tuned in can see it? Is that what that?
Yes, absolutely. It's just I was talking to Tanya on the Frank and Linda Hannaford case. They drove up, and then he heard a voice that take a right-hand turn coming out of the movie instead of taking a left. They drove up, and they stopped in front of this, what they thought was a swimming pool. And then they talked about how taking their kids there the next spring, because this is the fall time into the winter. And they talked about bringing the kids. And they, so eventually Linda that spring and summer took the kids over there, and there was no swimming pool, absolutely no swimming pool. And she even stopped the cop, says, "Where's the swimming pool at?" And says, "Well, there's one on the other side of town." And that's where I had Dr. Boylan. I happened to be in a conference, a UFO conference in Lincoln, and Dr. Richard Boylan was there, and I had Dr. Richard Boylan.
I love Dr. Boylan. I love Dr. Boylan. He helped me.
And he did the hypnosis for Linda and Frank Hannaford. And Frank comes walking down the stairs after hypnosis, and he says, "Fred, the swimming pool, that was not a craft. That was not the swimming pool. It was a craft." And Linda got levitated out of the car and into the craft and came back. And he said, "I was in paralysis in the car all along." You know, so what, you hear these stories and you hear all this stuff, and then you go, what's the projection? What's real? What's not real? I have no idea. So we're talking, this all goes to consciousness. Everything is manipulation of consciousness to me, of that construct.
The more we know, the less we know.
Yes.
The less we know.
That's the Memorex. Is it real or is it Memorex? Yes. That was a good article though. I liked it.
Yeah, George Knapp always does good stuff. But he won't cover our QED project. I said it'd be like 30 emails. He responded to one of them.
Well, good. At least he got a response.
Yeah, he said, "Oh, you guys doing anything new?" It's like, what are you talking about? This whole project is
anything new.
I guess he's been following us, as we've been going along, but I don't know.
Well, keep on them.
Yeah, Well, we're gonna make a new.
Got good stuff. We always got good stuff.
I'm gonna be making a new newsletter, and hopefully we get our new engine out. Maybe that'll get them interested. That's what we want. We just want a little segment, anything UFO related. If you get 4 minutes, you're good to go.
What's the next video there, Greg?
Well, what's the green glowing thing in the ocean?
Oh.
When mysteries like this pop up, Ben Hansen is the host of UFO Witness.
It's a space ark.
A longtime friend of the show. Okay, Ben, the video that we were just looking at, my first thought was, that's got to be divers, right? It's got to be divers with those neon lights. And then I thought, no, not at night without a dive boat. That's really dangerous. What did you make of it when you saw this?
Exactly that. I mean, I'm a master diver. There's nobody around there with a dive boat, with a dive flag, anything like that. I like to dive at night. Some people go lobster diving. It is still possible. This particular one, we haven't had time even to get out there to go check this out in the field. But you start looking at, the number of sightings that people are having in these locations, and putting it all together, it just doesn't make sense that so many people, are unable to, I don't know. The UFO thing has been, always people focusing in the sky, right? And so it's kind of like now that we're shifting to USOs, a lot of people are wondering if this is a new phenomenon or not, and it really is not. It's the submerged objects have been since the beginning. When we started reporting, remember we had these pilots who were seeing them in the water off of Catalina, and air traffic controllers were telling us that pilots were witnessing this glow, sometimes the size of a city. So here you have this Fort Lauderdale case. It's a lot smaller, but it's really hard to say whether we're looking at a natural phenomena. These definitely not like phosphorus and algae. It's nothing like that. And it definitely doesn't explain how people are seeing the objects come up out of the water and zip out, and these huge like flaps have been going on for decades.
And then the ones that dive back into the water and don't even make a splash, which is also, it just gives the, makes the hair on my neck stand on end. Again, I just want to go back to these pictures. No, okay, not divers, but is it possible? Well, first of all, have we seen any, plausible explanations surfacing? Like, well, this could be the military testing out new technology. This could be all sorts of stuff that we're not supposed to be seeing. Could be the enemy, although I doubt the enemy wants to be seen like this. But any plausible stuff that you've seen surface?
In this particular case, we really haven't had a chance, no pun intended, to dive into it yet. But this is just an example, like I said, of something that is much bigger, where I've had numerous cases where people are telling us have been out in the boat, they've been far away from shore, which again would be much more difficult to be just divers. And they've passed over areas about the size of a football field. And it's like somebody turns on a switch and the whole thing just lights up underneath them. Right. And then you mentioned the fact, too, that some of them, like we have the USS Omaha case caught on thermal camera, where we have this transmedium travel where they go into the water, don't seem to disturb it, come up out of the water, sometimes in broad daylight. Right. So something is traveling back and forth. You remember Rear Admiral Tim Gallaudet, who's been on the show before. He testified in front of Congress about a Navy program that they're calling the fast movers. Right. And the fast movers, they detect and track these objects that travel faster than any torpedo should or could, perhaps over 100 miles an hour. Right. And so you've got the fast ones, you have ones that kind of just linger there, huge, kind of like the size of a city. These guys, I think, were really afraid because they didn't know, should we actually drive over it? What's going to happen if we do? Is it going to take us down, suck us in?
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and down.
Anyway, Debbie Ziegelmeyer does a lot with on USO. She's got a book out, and she's been doing that for a long time. And she's got it's a pretty good book if you get a chance to read that. But
It'd be interesting to hear her comment on what this might be.
right.
There's the what she talked about with the narrator, the gal. She said the craft went into the water without disturbing or making a splash. Now that again is kind of like Skinwalker, where you see these orbs. They go through the ground. What's the high rise? What do they call the knoll or whatever they call it? They said the orb went through the ground and came back out through the side. Then, so evidently these lights or these objects or these craft or whatever you want to call it, they're in quantum state and therefore can go through physical material without disturbing it. That's the key that people need to start looking at right there.
Right.
Help me for a bit to rule out bioluminescence like plankton and jellyfish. I took a kayaking tour in Florida, and the whole highlight was you're going to see bioluminescence of organisms in the water. I know they don't move 100 miles an hour, one thing, but I don't know where that video was taken.
Or the size of a football field.
Right, because you can absolutely get the size of in that video. It was just localized and it was
right.
green, but you can get football size field of plankton and biological organisms that have bioluminescence in them. They aren't usually that bright. Well, I guess it depends on the light. I
don't know think they're that big or they move like that.
That seemed pretty bright, I mean, you got to be pretty bright to
Could be a chance that they're the underwater drones that are going along, with a green light or something like that. If it's, I don't think it'd be like enemy reconnaissance, because they obviously wouldn't have the light on there. So it seems like somebody wants to make a show of something. But also for UFOs, I'm not, horribly knowledgeable in underwater UFOs, but I don't think they have a light on them from what I've heard.
Well, the construct is there's over 9,000 plus past 3 years, right? So that's quite a few.
USOs?
Yeah,
Yeah. How
sightings.
many give off a eerie green light?
Yeah. It doesn't
You
make any
guys, you
doesn't make
guys,
sense.
USOs, UFOs, UAP, it's all the same thing.
Yes.
Yeah,
It
but
is.
just the other characteristics of like UFOs, I mean, they don't really, I don't know, they don't seem to fit for this one.
Well, the whole construct is too, Kyle and Greg, that I had a friend at work. And he said, Fred, why do UFOs have lights on them? Why do they have lights in the first place? And I said, good question. I don't know why. Evidently to be identified. That's the only thing I could understand. Why do they have lights? If
Yeah.
they So it boggles the mind.
Right.
Well, I guess if it's a projection like you were saying before, then that would make it could be anything. It doesn't have to be like a physical light. It could be just it's there to get your attention if it has a light.
Yes, absolutely. It's there to catch your attention.
But there's a lot of
Yes.
them that like what is it, the guy Larry Lemke, when he came for the Big Lake UFO case, when he said he saw the UFO, it had the light bending effect. So it's more of a cloaking,
Uh-huh.
more of a cloaking type of UFO. So it seems like, yeah, maybe the projections are more to catch your attention, whereas like the other ones are more for cloaking with no lights and light bending properties.
All right.
Yeah, go next one.
This is just something that I noticed. The FAA has updated their manual to reflect new UAP reporting policy. The Federal Aviation Administration has updated its manual for air traffic controllers in a directive that changes its language on UFOs to unidentified anomalous phenomena and instructs air traffic controllers to report UAP observations through existing safety and security channels. And I'd like to find out more about that, but this is all I got right now. What are the existing safety and security channels?
So I wonder why they're doing that. Is that just a part of the government, following the government perspective, calling them UAPs instead of UFOs?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, another thing on that last video, I thought I saw the name on there was the Enigma. Apparently those are getting reported through the Enigma app.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah. And not through MUFON.
Right.
I haven't been following this enough to know. Didn't the A used to stand for aerial, unidentified aerial phenomena? Has it changed to anomalous?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
they changed. They keep changing the offices of the government
Yep,
to
they change
keep
everything.
everybody guessing.
Well, anomalous might also include the submerged object, right? They're not all aerial. If they're a submerged object, or even if it, could be anything, just anything out of the ordinary. I think it might fit a little bit better.
Yeah.
It's like UFO flying object. Well, yeah, if they're not flying, well then UFO would. So we got the USO one. So yeah, having like one name to kind of take them all in would probably be good.
Right. And the name change thing isn't uncommon. MUFON used to be called the Midwest UFO Network, and now it's the Mutual UFO Network. So even the
No, the
organization.
name change came from the Pentagon
Yeah.
in order to prevent the people that are requesting the what are they called when you're requesting federal information that's been
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
FOIA.
Freedom of information. Yeah.
So they kept changing the name so that when people requested FOIA information,
Yes,
the answer was, well, oh, we don't have an organization like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or if they ask for UFOs, like, oh, we don't have anything on UFOs. All our stuff is on UAPs.
Yep. Yes. You don't ask for this exact terminology.
Unidentified aerial phenomenon. No, it's got to be, yeah, we have nothing on unidentified aerial phenomenon. It's all unidentified anomalous phenomenon.
Yes.
Yeah, that could definitely be another way to. And then another thing was to make them sound less crazy, because UFO stuff was always the crazy people, but UAP, that's credible, that's scientific. So
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's insane. The way the entire operation was was thought through and literally spent out through the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s to make sure anybody who saw a UFO was crazy.
Along with being called conspiracy theorists. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what I got going here now. Oops. Yeah, I've got a longer presentation that I'm not going to give because it's probably it's too, I don't know how long it'll
oh,
take.
we took up too much time. Great.
It takes, it's essentially, here's a preview. It's
Come
the
on, Greg. Come on, give it
UFO.
up. Show
It's
us.
Give us a tease here, Greg.
the UFO contactee phenomena. And I just went through and I've got a list of different, like 30 some different individuals that were in the contactee. Uh, and it's kind of historical and stuff and up to
Oh,
date.
okay.
But
I love the historical stuff that you bring to the table, Greg. Thank you.
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
Greg did a great job with the secret space program last month. I thought that was really, really good, you know, and that was quite interesting because they even brought up some terminology that I didn't really understand as well, but it was really good. Of course, you said you use little AI on that to help your research project.
oh yeah, what the heck?
I know, might as well use it. It
I might
brings
as
up
well
good
use it.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
it's
know.
pretty decent when you're scouring the internet for information, because
Yeah,
it can go through the whole internet and pull back anything that anybody's ever talked about and sum it up for you real fast.
it
Yeah.
was. It was a great presentation. I
Whereas
liked
like,
it.
yeah, if we're doing it, that'd probably take hours of hours going through, different forums and trying to piece stuff together. So yeah, it has
It
its
was,
uses.
it was a
Right.
You guys,
great press. Yeah.
I am going to our group, Fred, I'm going to forward a podcast. I just heard it this morning. Get over the first 3 minutes and then let him get into it.
Okay.
What he is reading is absolutely phenomenal.
What's
And
it
it's
about?
history. I believe it's history. It's about when we all know they came to us and Eisenhower or somebody or Truman signed a treaty,
Right.
okay?
Right.
We all know that. But do you understand the reason why they gave us nuclear weapons? It was so we would kill ourselves. We would explode ourselves. That's why they did it.
One of the ways we can kill ourselves, yes.
Seriously, it's really crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, you can post that on the Facebook too. I'd probably listen to it.
Yeah. So anyway,
Honey, I'm not a Facebook chick, okay?
Send it to Fred. Fred could put it on Facebook.
I'm the weird one, yes. Mark Wentz says, will the ETs let us have this level of technology? I would say they have in various ways, slowly they've, given us, various technologies, fiber optics is one of them, the IC chip is probably another construct, but that's way back in the early days, but now, how do you invade a house, how do you have, I kind of look at the construct of the ETs and my grays that came in, and there was a flash in my, and then this very same room I'm in right now. There was a whole projection of activity in that house from my front door being opened up, like my wife and I were in bed talking after watching TV. We were in our beds chit chatting and talking. And then all of a sudden, we heard the front door open, and then we heard footsteps coming up the stairs. First off, the door's locked. Why is the door opening up? I'm hearing the door open. And then I hear footsteps coming up the stairs, which, if it's a burglar, you would think it's carpeted, so they wouldn't want to be heard, right? And then the hallway lights up, and then there's a flash, a real brilliant flash. And as soon as the flash hit, I go in paralysis. And that's when I see three grays walking through the doorway of the bedroom that I was in. So the flash to me was the portal that was opening up. Now, Mark, what kind of technology is that? Can I ask you that? Is Mark still in the Zoom
Yeah,
land?
he's unmuted himself, I think.
Now, there we go. Got it this time. Well, how am I supposed to know that, Fred?
Well, what kind of technology are you talking about?
Okay. We're talking about this multidimensional opening. I want to comment though a bit about this topic, because if you go back and look at the skull experiment, which is spiritual stuff, but my experience is the spiritual stuff is really related to the ET stuff. And when you go look at the contact methods that the skull experiment used, it was low energy. And my background's in physics, and in physics, they like to do high energy to try to open up some of these higher dimensions. These portals, it seems to me, they can be opened up with low energy. And so, yes, my experience is these are portal openings. They're done through consciousness, as you said. That's my experience. Yes. And yet they manifest in what everybody agrees upon as physical. So our government loves high energy shit. They like to bomb shit and use lasers and all this shit. My experience is this stuff is low energy. You've got to learn how to calm everything down to go to the other veils. And I talked about this with my colleagues for years when I was in quantum physics and up in Canada, and they don't like to hear that shit. It's like the difference between cold fusion and hot fusion. They don't want to hear that fusion can happen in an enzyme method using like really tabletop temperatures. They don't want to hear that shit. I don't get it. Of course, it's been brainwashed into the E equals MC squared equation. You have to have energy to get that mass, but this is a different paradigm. So these portals, we need to start looking at them from a different point of view, more from the consciousness, low energy view than the high energy blast the hell out of space-time view, because that's not going to do it. So that's my input into this. I don't know if it's that relevant, but it's what came into my mind.
Yeah, the whole idea too, Mark, like you said, it's like how do they project this into us? Like I talked about my screen memory, then Linda and Frank and Linda Hannaford, where they were going to drive home from the movie theater, and Frank says there's a voice that came into my head and said take a right because it's shorter that way. Well, he doesn't know the area all that well, so he kind of takes a right, drives up the top of the hill, and they stop at this what they think is a swimming pool area, and they see the fence, the fence and the whole thing. They see the pool and everything, and months later they go back to it and it's not there. And again, Richard Boylan said that was a screen memory and da 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 da. So, what kind of technology is that, Mark? Other than you say it has to do with consciousness and how we got this brain skull technology now from Patrick Flanagan, and he had given that to supposedly the military back in the day and he said, all I wanted to get it authorized to have a patent on it. That was it. He said, well, you got the patent on it, but you couldn't use it anyway. So what the hell? So they just gave them the technology of the voice to skull technology, projecting a voice. But how do you project a whole holographic imagery to you? How's that done? So that's where we're getting into the construct of holograms. Is are we really living in a holographic, simulation construct in real life?
Well, as you've mentioned several times, the observer effect.
Right.
So, the most basic thing in quantum physics is the relationship between superposition and collapse of the wave function.
Right.
And so that the collapse of the wave function occurs when there's an observation. So you have this ocean of possibilities, as I know that you guys all realize. You have these oceans of possibilities. And so if you manipulate the ability or the mechanism of observation, which is, clearly neuronal functions, I mean, but there's more to it than that, of course, then you can manipulate what you experience. And so by manipulating just low energy, it just takes low energy stuff, like you say, the 7.83 hertz signal for opening up portals. It's low energy stuff. It's manipulating our perception, which is our observation, which leads to manifestation, and
Right.
it collapses the wave function. And we all have similar organic structures. We all work basically with the same neuronal function circuitry in our brain, which allows for us to all have similar perceptions. But it's to me, my experience is that it all comes down to perception, manipulating perception with low energy signals through many different means. It doesn't have to be electromagnetic. There's other ways, like they talk about in the telepathy tapes. And that changes our whole perception of the universe, which is what we experience.
Right.
So they know how to do this shit. And maybe we do too.
Well, the question is real to me, Mark, because you just said, well, ETs have this level of technology. Well, von Braun talked about the alien invasion. How did he know this? And then now we're thinking, how are they going to construct this alien invasion? They knew that they were going to project this, so they knew they had to have the technology already, because that was given that one gal. What was her name? And she comes out and says, "Oh yeah, we're going to have the alien invasion," and even some of the other folk said we're going to have the upcoming alien invasion. So evidently the technology is there, and who's offering that technology to the cabal, the folks, in the dark, the people, we can call them the cabal or whatever, So evidently they do have the technology, and then they don't want to present it too soon, too fast, until they get to us, until we are at that point that this stuff actually exists. And they, not to say that 9/11 wasn't, the planes were holographic. I have no idea. Then the explosion of just, explosions of the collapsing of the World Trade Centers, So to me, there was direct beam weaponry representation going on that aspect as well. So, they do have a lot of technology, correlating to that construct, and so I don't know. Besides the alien abductions.
They have had all this technology for over 60 years, Fred.
Yeah. Well, I understand that, but the construct is that a lot of people don't understand that they have that. And to the fact that the aliens stopped abducting us, and then the military started abducting us, and then to the point where,
the military did it to fool us.
Well,
to make us think that, it wasn't alien abductions. It was your own people abducting.
Well, the whole construct too, you get into this too, Mark, is you got the, ultra, ultra, mind control, deep, what's that? I can't think of it.
Ultra MK.
Yeah,
you talking about Ultra MK?
yeah. So they were doing that over in Plum Island, you know, a lot of that stuff, you know, and the creation of Lyme disease. You know, Lyme disease. Well, that was created, and the fact was that it got loose somehow, and the winds blew the ticks to guess where? Lyme, Connecticut. That's why it's called Lyme disease. And so they were doing all kinds of street, and then Jekyll Island. You know why they call it Jekyll Island at the
Hey, now you
Montauk?
be careful. I had 2 guinea pigs from the age of 10 to 12 that died of Lyme disease.
Yeah, MK Ultra. You know the MK Ultra. Yeah, mind control. So they've been doing this for a long, long, long time. You know, we're just coming away wake of it, and those of us are, you know, and I'm having dreams of, you know, Nazi soldiers and going underwater and seeing this big black blob that was an entity, you know, and I'm like, why am I having these experiences now? So I don't know if I'm aware of it now, and then I'm, you know, so that this phenomena comes through in dreams in very loose. I'm just saying dreams, but actually they're lucid dreams, dream imagery. It's real. So, but that's.
But okay, haven't you guys ever heard of, the Bay of Pigs incident?
Yes.
From what I've heard is that one of the things we were considering in the White House and that JFK was considering was using holograms over the island of Cuba. Over the island of Cuba. Like on one end, they were going to put Mary. On the other end, they were going to put Jesus Christ. And they were going to do these holograms to freak out the Cuban people. In the end, they chose not to use that technology. My only point being, that's how long we've had that technology.
Yeah. It's strange. Again, it's just coming to recognize where it's been used and looking back at it and see how the technology has been used in various scenarios. But
so my God, gentlemen, a fake alien invasion and they use this technology. Oh my God, that is going to be hell to pay. Because in every false flag, people die.
Yeah. So what's the latest on 3i? What's the latest on 3i Atlas?
I was just thinking the same thing.
Yeah, somebody keep us up to date. But we know it's not an asteroid. We know it's not a comet right now. Avi Loeb just said.
Avi Loeb is, according to Dr. Salya, he's a part of the Israeli intelligence, and he's still a part of that. So he's being told certain things to bring this stuff up. He came out right at first that this is not a comet. It's an alien craft with malevolent entities on it. So why is he saying that? There you go, Steve. You got a first class, high ranking scientist from Harvard making these claims. Why is he doing that?
No, I thought Steve was going to say something. Thought he was going to blow our minds.
And then he mutes himself.
Oh, whoops.
I'll say something. Ali Loeb wants to be a fucking superstar or something. I don't know who he thinks he is. He's got to post something every day. He thinks he's going to be famous. However, I will tell you this. It was the former Israeli prime minister or president, whatever they call him over there, that came straight clean on his deathbed and told us that our government is in contact with ETs.
Yeah. I believe so. I think we have contact with the ETs. It's coordinated effect of some sort.
I'm sorry, Fred. I don't remember. I had some thoughts. I made a post on Facebook, another one of my long, drawn-out essays about that whole thing with that. I don't remember what my conclusion was.
So don't quote me, huh, Steve?
Well, wasn't the whole idea? Oh no, I heard Michio Kaku. Oh yeah, we remember him, right, Kyle?
Yeah.
That he got on some Bill O'Reilly podcast. Somebody had made an AI video of Michio Kaku saying that it was aliens, and he's
Yeah.
like, "I never said that. That was all a
That
lie.
was
It was
I
totally
actually
fabricated."
posted that video on our Facebook page. That was an AI one.
Yeah. I know,
Well,
and Michio's been used a lot, in a lot of these three-eye atlas things, making these really good scientific claims and da 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 da. So I don't know what to think anymore, But my intake is my gut, my intuitive thing is that this is awakening humanity to say that there are aliens. This is kind of phase one. But then you got the first one, Muamua, and then Boristov, and then now Three Eye Atlas. Then there's Swan, and then there's Lemon. But you don't hear, like I said, I haven't heard anything about Lemon and the other, the other comets. That supposedly were interreacting. Yeah, lime and whether that I just said. I forgot the other one.
Swan.
Yeah, Swan. That's right. Thanks, Greg. Swan and Lemon. Yep.
Well, I thought the minimal facts that we had was that this was most likely a comet, and we're going to find out as it gets closer to the sun if it's going to have a trail. And the whole idea is that if it slows down when it comes to perihelion, that would be the perfect time for a mothership to kind of deploy uh, its little probes or whatever, because we wouldn't be paying attention to it as much when it slows down. I thought that was the basis of that Harvard guy. All he was saying is when it slows down, coming to perihelion around the sun, that'd be the best time to deploy something without the Earth people like seeing it.
Deploying what? Deploying what, Steve?
Probes. Like if it's a mothership, it would deploy probes.
Oh,
as it slows down.
Oh, okay, I get you.
He just announced yesterday, in case nobody saw the latest from LA Lovett, he just announced yesterday that it has now been determined there is absolutely no tail on this asteroid. And I say asteroid in the loosest terms, meaning something hurling through space. But there is absolutely no tail. There is no longer a conversation about, is it a comet or not? No, it is absolutely not a comet. Now, what does that mean? What does that tell us? Pretty much nothing other than it's not a comet.
Well, with all the anomalies, I mean, the multiple, like there's 15 anomalies that it's not a comet. And then one of the things they were talking about is how does this thing come through and interact with 4 planets, in conjunction. And when we have to figure out how do we send a spacecraft from here to intersect one of the planets to get to it. But this thing's doing 4 planets. They said that's almost insurmountable of information, of intelligence, of being able to do that with 4 planets. So there's a lot of anomalies that, again, I think it's blowing mainstream scientists' minds a little bit that this thing is doing what it's doing. And not to say there's might be other probes coming in, other other stuff coming, after this, after Three Eye Atlas as well. So, but it's a prime time right now. We'll see by the January of 2026. We'll see more of Three Eye Atlas, what it was, and so it's just.
Yeah, it says the closest approach will be December 19th.
Yes, for Earth, and then it goes out, then it hits Jupiter, I think, right? So that's the construct of that. So it's
I
Mars,
have
Venus,
heard there
Mars,
is
Venus.
something else coming in. There is something else coming in about
Okay.
2 years behind AI.
3i. Right.
3i, whatever. Fuck, I
Right.
don't even know.
So I hit Mars, Venus, or Venus, Mars, and then Earth, and then Jupiter, I think, or the 4 planets of
Oh,
being in
okay. So
conjunct.
October 30th was the closest to the sun, and then it's behind the sun, and then it'll
Right.
be reobservable early December. So that's okay. That makes more sense.
By
He was saying it could release the probes behind the
physically
sun.
see with our eyes, it's like December 19th or so is the due date. So, but now you can see it with
It
the
didn't say you could
telescope.
see with your eyes, but
Well, supposedly they said you'd be able to see it, by that time frame. But
170 million miles would be the closest distance.
No,
but
I
then you,
think they meant we can see it through a telescope.
Yeah, you can see it through a telescope.
right now we can, sure.
Well, no, now I think it's behind the sun, so we can't see it.
It's
No,
not.
you
It's
see
out.
it.
It's beyond the sun now, Kyle.
Yeah.
That's in
It's
early
past.
December.
No, that's
Is AI lying to me? It's AI. It's smarter than all of us.
it's lying to you. It's beyond. It's past the sun
It's
now.
lying to all of us. It's like the internet. You've got to choose discernment over believing everything you read.
Yeah, but it's the closest on the supposedly December 19th to Earth. So more to come. We got to hit Thanksgiving. We got to have the turkey turkey craft coming through.
Yeah.
We got to get through Thanksgiving first before we get into any more. So
All right.
then Santa Claus. Then we'll have a Santa Claus coming through the skies here then too. So yes.
About the end of the meeting here. Be doing our next one. Hopefully we get the room. I need to see it on
Oh,
their
we're down to
schedule. I'll confirm everybody a week ahead of time.
we're down to 5 minutes. Oh, 6 minutes.
Yeah, December 20th. That's our next meeting. I don't know if
Okay.
Greg, you doing a meeting?
Doing a meeting. Yeah, I can show you on the slides here.
Okay.
This it kind of finished things out if we want to do this.
Sure.
The MUFON, this month's MUFON Journal does have some stuff written by Mark Antonio on the 3i Atlas. What is it really? And he's an astronomer and stuff, and he talks about it. So it's kind of interesting. Upcoming events. The next Nebraska Iowa MUFON meetings going to be on the 20th of December from 10 to 12. The next Iowa meetings is coming Saturday from 11 to 1 and at the West Des Moines Library. And thanks for attending.
We didn't talk about the boogosphere. That's been really ramping up things, the boogosphere, boogosphere, whatever it is.
Right.
There's a lot of information
What
coming
do you have
out.
to do for those library meetings, Greg? Do you have to, you just talk to the call in and ask them to get a room or something?
They have on their website. On the West Des Moines Library, you can schedule your meetings. They have up to 90 days in advance, so you have to choose a time. What happens to me a lot is I'll forget, and then I'll try to get a certain time, and then I can't get it. I'm working on or need to work on getting a set schedule for next year. And for the whole year. I've got to talk to the library about that.
Okay. Yeah, because I know Margie K wanted to come up and do something in like each state, do like a town hall meeting.
Right.
And so I think we're setting ours up for May, maybe. I'll have to get, I don't know if Tamara's on here. Yeah, she's there. You want to, I'll send an email and get everybody hooked together, I guess. But yeah, she mentioned doing a public library, and I have never done anything in a public library yet, so I was just wondering.
Yeah. Well,
They let you bring food and everything, or?
this one, yeah, West Des Moines does. There are other libraries I've done that didn't allow you to have food.
And do they let you, you think you'd be able to charge attendance? I think there's other things she
They
mentioned.
they don't, no, they don't want you to charge necessarily, but what I do is I put a cup out next to the coffee and the other stuff that we bring.
Yeah.
And if people want to donate, essentially they're just kind of donating to kind of cover the cost of the coffee. It doesn't really, yeah, whatever they want to put in there. So
Yeah.
We used
it's
to,
not like I'm charging people there. They can put money in there or they can't. It doesn't make a
Yeah, I
difference.
know for our next what I didn't want to really charge people since we didn't have Margie last time. I'd like to bring her in and just,
yeah.
you know,
I'm going to say, Kyle, that at Abrams, 90th and 4th, they have that big room in there. We used to have our UFO meetings there at the Abrams at 90th and 4th. I
yeah.
don't know if you were around then. We had our
No.
MUFON meetings at Abrams. Yeah.
Well, we might be able to do the new one on 72nd and Dodge if, I don't know what the parking's going to look like or if they have rooms. But
72nd Dodge.
yeah, the new public library
Oh yeah, is
Really?
where
that
Due
building
Space
on
used to
that
be. Yeah.
southwest corner?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't
Oh,
know
really?
that.
Supposed to be done, yeah, 2026. So if we did it in May, they might be open. And
How soon? How soon in 2026?
that was January. They
Oh,
have
really?
a job opening now. I'm apply
Oh,
for
really?
it, but I wouldn't mind getting in there. I love that location, but yeah, I don't know what the parking or the room or
Well,
anything's
that'd be
gonna
good.
look like, but looks pretty
Well, I think.
fancy.
Well, if it's using a parking lot, I suppose that you've got plenty of parking.
You just
Hey
never know
guys.
how busy
Hey
it's gonna
guys.
be.
They have a downtown library right now, right across the street from my new apartment. It is
No,
on 14th and Jones.
no,
It's
no,
really
no,
large. Are you
no,
sure we
no,
couldn't use
no,
that?
no, no.
I think we're
I'm
getting
not going
Why?
downtown. There's no place to park. Sorry, Tanya.
Oh, okay, that's true.
well,
Okay,
she
that's
doesn't have to
true.
Oh,
park
that's true.
anywhere.
No
She could
parking.
she could
I've
just
got
walk
my own
over.
parking lot, so sorry, I forgot.
Yes, no parking,
I
Tanya.
hate going downtown with no parking. It's so
Yes, I
crazy.
No,
hate
it
going downtown.
sucks. It sucks.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it.
Yep, thanks everyone. Yeah, we'll wrap this up here.
Yep. We got a minute.